This is going to be kind of more of really one clip talking about the books that I've started and kind of got through, because there wasn't much I could really update you on with the Wheel of D20, because I started reading my Wheel of D20 books while I was on vacation. So so I did complete one of the books while I was on my vacation, which was my reread prompt for The Hating Game. I also did complete the entirety of The Kill Jar, which was my nonfiction read. I read that a little bit when I was on the plane there, and then I finished it on the ride back. And then I have started and I'm halfway through Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. So far this is actually pretty good. This is really interesting. It's got like a competition. It's got like right off the bat like a very, very badass like main character. Like holy hell. And then I did start by reading the first chapter of Adulthood Rights. I don't really know what to tell you with this one, but I did start it. I started it. I did it. I completed it. Well, I completed the prompt by at least starting it. So yay. So Hating Game, obviously loved. Reread for me, always is a favorite. The Kill Jar was okay. It was not my favorite nonfiction book. It kind of was more of like, not creative nonfiction necessarily, but it definitely had less of the actual like story of what happened and more of what the author found out as they were developing this kind of case and figuring out more about what happened in like the time frame, because this is basically a story about the most notorious serial killer, specifically child serial killer in Detroit, Michigan, where in the 70s there were 4 children who in the span of like a year had gone missing and were found dead, and nobody, still to this day, is an unsolved serial killer case because nobody really knows who did it. There were a lot of people who in the surrounding area were looked at for possibly being the serial killer, but they either died or were brought up on other charges, and there was no like actual real evidence of any of these people like having been involved. There was very little evidence in general, and so this is like one of the most notoriously like unsolved cases that there is in Detroit specifically, which was really interesting to read about. There were a lot of things that I could pick out in terms of like recognizing from the Detroit area from the few times I've been there. But at the very least, like a lot of the things about Michigan, and like there was stuff about Ann Arbor and other surrounding areas of Detroit, and like there's a little bit about Flint and a little bit about, you know, places like that I knew growing up. So it was fine. It was just not, I don't know, it felt really kind of more of like the author's story, which I guess was kind of the point. It was more of his like recounting of the stuff that he found out along the way through interviews and transcripts, and also like reading up the case files, all these things. But it just, I don't know, it just didn't feel great. It wasn't my favorite nonfiction story of all time. It kind of just was meh, but I at least would like to maybe hold on to it to try to read it again eventually. I don't know. I'm kind of like wavering on it. I may give it up just because I've read it and I'm now kind of like done with it. But we'll kind of see from there. We'll kind of figure out what we're gonna do. But it started Adulthood Rights. But then, like I said, Immortal Longings going so far pretty well. It's about halfway through it right now. I could finish it today, honestly, the day I'm filming this clip. And then I can finish Adulthood Rights here before at least the live show soon. So I've at least started everything, which is good. That's always my goal, is to at least start everything. And then that way I can do the whole shebang of the wheel for November. So hello. So basically what I last left you on was just saying I was going to finish Immortal Longings, continue with Adulthood Rights. I've since done both of those. I'm actually editing this video now as I'm filming this clip. So yes, I did finish Immortal Longings. I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I am still working through Adulthood Rights. Basically going to be one of my carryovers into the month of November, but I did at least start it, so we get to do 3 spins for the month of November, which is super awesome because I was at least able to get the books started, even though I may not have necessarily finished them, which is always the goal when it comes to the Wheel of D20. So 3 spins for November, and then that will be it. So Thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you'd like to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. Also, if you would like to check out my Etsy store, it is also down in the description for you. It is at owlsnestapothecary.etsy.com, where you can get my spell jars, spell necklaces, candles, wax melts, digital planner stuff, all kinds of goodies. So go check it out if you get a chance to. I would really appreciate it. But that's it for today, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.